In 2001, Andrea Yates drowned her 5 children in a bathtub. When put on trial, her lawyer argued that she was criminally insane. After the verdict at her first trial was thrown out due to reversible error on the part of the prosecutor, the jury in her second trial agreed with the defense and found her not guilty by reason of insanity. This was a controversial ruling that had many people wondering exactly what the legal standard of insanity meant. Crazy or not, we can all agree that any mindset that leads a woman to kill her children is an evil one. But what exactly was that mindset? What exactly was the nature of Andrea Yates' insanity? John Locke once defined madness as reasoning correctly from false premises. That got me thinking. What exactly were the premises that Yates was reasoning from? From press coverage of the trial, it seems that something like the following must have went through her mind. Premise 1. If my children die before they are old enough to sin, they will go to heaven. Premise 2. If my children die after they are old enough to sin, they may go to hell. Premise 3. If I kill my children, I will go to hell. Premise 4. I love my children more than I love myself. Their well-being matters more to me than my own. Conclusion 5. Ergo, I should kill my children to protect them from hell, even though it means I will go there myself. Now, I of course think this is an unsound argument, as I believe premises 1 through 3 are all false. Nonetheless, it does seem like a valid argument. If premises 1 through 3 were true, then the conclusion would follow. Which creates the following problem. It seems to me that most mainstream Christians believe 1 through 3 are true. So doesn't that mean that Christians should kill their children at a young age? And it gets worse. Once you've killed your children, you're already damned to hell, so you should actually do your neighbor a favor and kill their children too. That way, they don't have to endanger their own souls by killing their own children. In fact, as long as you're going to hell anyway, you should try to kill as many children as possible. After all, it's not like God can cast you into the fiery pits of eternal damnation twice. Now, let me be clear here. I'm not saying that Christians should kill their children. That would be a horrible thing. I'm asking why they don't kill their children. I'm looking for an answer here, not behavior. There are at least 5 answers that I could come up with. I'm hoping you guys can help me come up with some more. So, here's option A. They could point out that God says, "Thou shalt not kill." Well, this is fair enough, but really, what do you care more about? Pleasing God or saving your children's immortal souls? Let's get our priorities straight here. Option B. They could reject the reality of hell. This is a possible move, one I think that's at least a step in the right direction, but it contradicts the doctrines of virtually every major denomination of Christianity, so it's probably not a popular move. Option C. They could hold that the odds of their children going to hell are low enough to make the risk worthwhile. But do you really want to gamble with your children's immortal souls? Moreover, what if you have, say, 10 kids? The odds of at least one of them being damned is significantly higher, so shouldn't you just play it safe and kill all 10 just in case? Option D. They could deny premise 1. They could say that people only go to heaven if they, for example, accept Christ as their Savior, which children under the age of conscientiousness can't do. Well, okay, but then you have to say, where do these kids go when they die? Would a loving God send innocent, or at least as innocent as they can be, children to hell? Doesn't seem too plausible. Does he send them maybe to purgatory or limbo or something like that? Well, even the Catholic Church seems to be backing away from that scenario. And Protestants aren't going to like that option either, since there's no mention of either such place in the Bible. So, where do they go? But even if you can answer that question, once again, doesn't the precautionary principle rule here? Shouldn't you just play it safe and kill your children just in case? Option E, the Calvinist variant on the last option. My children are predestined to go to heaven or to hell, so there's nothing I can do to affect that outcome either way. Alright, but by the same token, you're predestined to heaven or hell too, so the only real motivation you have not to kill your children is what it implies about the fate of your soul, not what it causes. And perforce, you've got an even better motivation to kill your children, since their relative innocence implies that their souls are more likely to be pure, and hence more likely to be heavenward bound if they die young. But even if my construal of Calvinist theology is inadequate, as I suspect most Calvinists would argue, this move is not a help to non-Calvinist Christians out there. If I've covered all the bases, then Christians have no good reason not to kill their children. The only difference then between Andrea Yates and every other mainstream Christian is that she honestly realized what her beliefs committed her to, and had the courage to follow them to their logical conclusion. So if you agree with what I said at the beginning of this video, that any belief system that would lead someone to kill their own children is evil, then what does that say about mainstream Christianity?